It is a good thing when the people of voice get together, united on one accord. We know beyond any doubt that as long as we stand together in solidarity, there is no force that can stop us. We stand with you today in the climate of our country where we are experiencing two pandemics, the COVID-19 and racism 2020. It is imperative that we understand the power of our voices. Powerlessness is the worst oppression that any people can ever experience. When we feel powerless, we sense that our votes don't count. We sense that our presence don't count. And we feel helplessness that will allow the oppressors to override and to overrule all that we can possibly do. But I'm here to tell you today that together we can stand, and the power in your voice matters. It is not incumbent of the marginalized communities to fight the fight of racism. It is the onus of those who are powerful and privileged to stand using your wind so that it begins to be the power underneath our wings. We can fly, but we need your wind. And we need you to know that we cannot allow anything or anybody turn us around. We stand here with you in solidarity. God bless every one of you. God keep you.
It takes so many steps these days to get ready to speak and to greet community members. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Thank you so much. Can folks in the back hear me? You can. Thank you. I am Nikenge Harmon Johnson. I'm the President and Chief Executive Officer of the Urban League of Portland, and it is my honor to be with you here today. I am grateful to my brother Ernesto and to his colleagues at Hacienda CDC who have decided to host this vigil today. All of you have come out on the sunny, little hot out here, so it means all the more to me that you would take the time to show up at such a time as this. I will be brief for a number of reasons, including that I've still got work to do. But that's a good thing. But also, I want to be brief so you have a chance to hear from our other speakers. But I have a few requests of you, so that's what I'm gonna talk about a little bit. I am working day in and day out, and my staff is working late nights. I was talking to a member of my board after midnight last night. That's not normal, but the moment we're in is not normal. And what I've been telling my team, and we're out working for the community because we're fighting the pandemic of COVID-19, and we continue to fight the pandemic of racism, as my brother Edie Mondane said. But there's a reason that we're working around the clock and 6 and 7 days a week. There's a reason why I don't miss any opportunity to speak to a group of people such as yourselves. There's a reason why we are pushing and pushing and pushing, and it's because justice cannot wait. It cannot wait a moment more. Now let me tell you the downside of why I've got to work so hard and push so fast and why I need your help. It's because there's something we know about movements like this. We know that attention wanes. We've seen it happen before. We've seen folks come to the table and be so excited and be so ready and be so energized and believe that change can happen. And those who want things to stay the same, they try to wait us out. They try to waste your time. They try to make you believe that nothing can change, go on back to business as usual. You tried, but what can you do? They want you to feel as if though systemic racism, bias, prejudice, the murder of innocent black men and women all over the country is just a force of nature. They want you to believe, well, we're doing the very best we can to make things be different. Well, we're trying. Don't you hear us standing behind a podium and saying good words? Don't you see a new police chief? Doesn't that mean something to you? Didn't you hear us say we cut the budget a little bit? Don't you believe us when we tell you we're in Salem and we really want to make chokeholds finally illegal? Well, we've heard them say those things before. And I've been the president of the Urban League for now just over 5 years, and there have been 6 police chiefs in Portland? I don't know. I stopped keeping track, because what's the point? Because changing the head of that machine does not make its intricacies any different. What makes it different is real change, and we know it when we see it. So I'm grateful to you for being here today, but I also want to tell you, I need you to keep your attention. I need you to keep your focus. I need you to keep showing up at vigils like these, at marches like there is tonight and over the weekend, because they think you're tired. They think that you will go home. And I gotta be honest, y'all, people truly believe that white folks are about done with this. White folks have done what they can do and are about ready to go on back home and celebrate the summertime. Justice time was very June. Come July, you'll be having barbecues and doing other things. Although please don't, because COVID-19 is not playing with you. But the reason that I have to work tonight is because you're still out here. You're making folks listen to me and talk to me in ways that has not happened in my 5 years in this work. I didn't suddenly get smarter. I didn't suddenly become more persuasive. I'm not really working harder in my heart with my hands than I was before. Now, though, I've got listening ears in Clackamas County. I've got working hands in Washington County. Even in Marion County, they're talking about, well, should we defund police in schools? There are protests all over our state, which means the governor calls me for a change. Understand what I'm saying and what that means for someone who runs a little nonprofit like mine. It means that you make the difference in our ability to make change. You make the difference in the legislators who are going to vote yay or nay. It's about your presence in the streets day in and day out, and picking up the phone and tweeting and posting on Facebook and writing letters and doing all those civic actions that we know we were supposed to do. I need you to do them right now. I need you to let your legislator know you support the People of Color Caucus and its proposals before the state legislature. I mean it. Don't just say it. Don't just nod your head. Please pick up a phone and tell your elected officials that right now. And Peter Courtney, he's Senate President, he works for you too. Tina Kotek, you may not live in her district, but she works for you too. She's the Speaker of the House, right? Reach out and touch. We need you right now as much as we ever had. We need us, this community, right now. I want to share something else with you before I invite my brother Marcus to come to the podium, to the microphone. It is that we're building a kind of trust, right? As an Urban League president, I have 80 brothers and sisters who are presidents of Urban Leagues all across the country. A couple of my best friends run the affiliate in Twin Cities, Minnesota, in Louisville, Kentucky. And when I show them pictures of events like this, they say, but you're in Portland. They don't believe that there is energy like this around the country until I show them. When I show them pictures of Breonna Taylor's face and George Floyd's face and you saying their names, it makes a difference to them. Because they're fighting Mitch McConnell in Kentucky, and I won't go into my political spiel right now because that's not what this is, but understand that as much as you are empowering me and us in this moment, you are also empowering brothers and sisters across the country who are also doing this work. If Portland, one of the whitest cities in the country, keeps showing up and showing out and demanding change, understand how powerful that is. You are powerful. Be bold, accept that strength, and keep grinding. Keep using it, keep pushing. As I close, I will tell you that on my way here, you may have heard it too, on OPB, Sergio Olmos, he's a freelance reporter who's been in the streets every night with protesters. If you're not following his content, you should do so. He's doing great work. But he said, well, Turnout to rallies and protests might be down now that Multnomah County is reopening for business. Juneteenth was the day that restaurants and bars started to kind of open up again. And it looks like some attendance might be a little bit lower. So we gotta see what it's gonna look like this weekend. If it's lower this weekend, then we know people just didn't have anything better to do, so they were showing up to protest. Is that why you're here? You don't have anything better to do?
No.
Is that why you're here? You couldn't do some laundry or do something else around your homes?
No.
You're here because you believe in justice. Say it with me, justice.
Justice.
Now I need you to keep saying it. We gotta fill the parks. We gotta fill the marches. Need you to stay active because they're looking for weaknesses and cracks. They're ready for you to forget. They're ready for you to quit. I can't quit, I won't quit, I live in this skin. There are many of you here who live in skin just like me, right? This is what we have to do because it's about life. It's about my ability to be a full citizen in America. Some of you, though, have an option to go home and live it alone. I hope, I trust that you won't, because you feel the power of this moment. You feel that we are ready to change. We are so close. So please, don't give up. Don't give up. Thank you.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
My name is Marcus Mundy. I'm the Executive Director of the Coalition of Communities of Color here in Portland. Louder? All right. My name is Marcus Mundy. I represent the Coalition of Communities of Color, which is a 19-member nonprofit dealing with culturally specific organizations, one of which was the Urban League. My friend and colleague Nkenge just spoke to you. And we serve the community. We have 6 Black-led organizations in the coalition. And I guess the first thing I want to say is just, I'm just so pleased to see these signs. I mean, I will say their names. And DC statehood, I'm pro that. And white silence is violence, and Black lives do matter. And as a Black man living in Portland, to be able to say that out loud and have people believe it and have people confirm it, this is a moment, and I'm glad to be in this moment, and I'm glad to see so many of you people here today. So thank you for coming out. I was supposed to talk to you about the power of coalition and our strength, but our strength is everybody who's standing out here right now. The Coalition of Communities of Color does this work. They do anti-racist work. They do social services. They do jobs. They do everything, and that's represented here. But in this moment of Black Lives Matter, I just wanted to say that, you know, this is about Black folks. It was George Floyd who suffered under that policeman's knee. It was a Black life that was lost. But everybody here, you know, I was thinking about my Native American brothers and sisters who endured our own government, and most of the things I'm going to share with you is that our government sometimes fails us. I'm not anti-government, I'm pro-people, but sometimes our government fails us. And I look back to Andrew Jackson, who was responsible for the Trail of Tears. That affected my Native American brothers. I look back to the president who signed the Internment Act for our Asian brothers and sisters, our Japanese internment. Right from this city, they were interned. I look at the people whose land we're on now, the Native American land, and Mexican people almost came up here in the Oregon Territory, and this land was stolen by governments over time. And even my brother Jimmy, who represents Africa House, who's going to talk to you in a little bit, you know, they were the original African Americans that were brought here against their will. So everybody that is talking to you today has already suffered. Everybody here has suffered because of government intervention, neglect, and man's inhumanity to man. And what we're trying to do with this Black Lives Matter is show the power of coalition, show the power that we can make a difference collectively. And as Nkenge said, and as others will say, I hope you know, you all, this has been 4 weeks, 4 weeks, 4.5 weeks since Brother Floyd was slow motion extinguished from living here with us. 4 weeks. But it was 20,000 weeks ago that we were brought over here in slave ships. The Native Americans were here for 10 or 20,000 years before that. So this has been going on for a long, long time, and many people have asked me, does it feel different this time? Do the support we get from the community, does anything feel different? And I will say, yes, it does. It does feel different this time, but I'm not yet convinced. So what Nikenge asked you and what I'm going to ask you is, please stick with it. The protests aren't over, and when the protests end, the work isn't over. We require you to be relentless. We require you to stick with it. Because the only way I can answer yes to is it different this time is if it is actually different and we stick with it. So that's really what I have to say, other than I'm so grateful for you all to be waving these signs for Black Lives Matter. As a black man in America, it does my heart good to see this. I'm hopeful. I'm not convinced yet, but I'm hopeful, and I'll be with you every step of the way. And thank you. And I'd like to now bring up my brother Paul Lumley from the Native American Youth and Family Center.
Sheikh Pakwe, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
My name is Paul Lumley. I'm a citizen of the Yakama Nation, and I'm executive director of the Native American Youth and Family Center, which is just down the street over here. I want to start off by thanking Ernesto for the beautiful land acknowledgement today. I really appreciate that. And also for holding this event and bringing all of you here together, because united we stand and we can make a more just world. Can't we?
Yes.
Yeah.
So when I heard about this vigil and the title being Say Their Names, the first person I thought of was George Floyd. His tragic death and so many others as well over the centuries really brought forth this power of demonstration, of people standing up and saying they'd had enough. And when I think of Say Your Names, that's the first person I think of, George Floyd. So I think we should say his name, don't you think? Say his name. George Floyd. Say his name. We are there with you. We support you. We see your pain. We feel your pain. And we have a right to be angry. We have a right to express that anger. And right now we're seeing something I haven't seen in my life. This is a new generation of demonstration. A new generation of people, young and old, stepping forward to say, we need a better future. United we stand. We can create that better future. We can do that. We can do that if we do it together. Now, we did see some doors opening. The city of Portland has affected the police budget. We hope in a good way. We see the Oregon legislature taking steps. The doors are opening, but they're not going to really be effective unless we walk through that door together. We walk through that door together and demand the change that we need to end this institutional racism. We all know it. Black Lives Matter. That's what that means. Ending institutional racism. So I know this is a vigil, and I'm remembering all these people up here, but I can't help it. I feel angry. And I need a place to express that. And I want to really thank you all for coming out here today. We have got to keep this fight together. We've got to stay together. United we stand. We can make a more just world. The Native American community stands in total support of the Black Lives Matter movement. Thank you. Next, it is my honor to introduce my friend and Commissioner Sushila Jayapal.
Thank you, Paul. Thank you, everybody. I'm Sushila Jayapal, your Multnomah County Commissioner for District 2, which is north and northeast Portland, right here, Cully neighborhood. I wasn't expecting to speak, so I don't have prepared remarks, but here's what I want to say to you. George Floyd's murder was a tragedy. And we know that it wasn't the first one by a long shot. Every murder of a black person at the hands of the police and in many other ways that are not visible to us has been a tragedy. Every one of those instances is a mirror that's held up to us, to our community, our country, our county, our state. What's different this time? In the past, we've been able to look away. The mirror has been held up to us, we didn't like what we saw, and we looked away. This time, we cannot look away. This time, we cannot look away. There is no excuse, there is no explanation, there is no imagining, there is nothing that allows us to look away. And that's why you're here, because you are looking into the mirror and you're asking yourself, how do I change what I see? And so I am going to echo what Nkenge said, which is don't look away. Don't look away. Keep looking, keep acting, keep showing up, and remember that it is about so many things. It's about police violence, it's about accountability, it's about the public safety system as a whole. It's about all of our systems, so don't stop when one of those issues gets addressed. Look at all of the systems that we all participate in, all of us, and keep pushing. And here's the other thing I want to say to you. We know this is a moment of urgency, right? I want to make a distinction between speed and urgency. Urgency is we are fired up, we know what has to be done, we are resolute, we insist, we persist, we keep coming out because we know that it is not fast. It will not happen tomorrow. But it will happen if we have the urgency and resolution to keep showing up, keep saying Black Lives Matter, keep insisting Black Lives Matter, and keep pushing for change. Thank you so much. And I have the pleasure of introducing my colleague, Multnomah County Commissioner Jessica Vega Peterson.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's so wonderful to see so many people out here today at this vigil. To say it loudly, to say it over and over again, that Black Lives Matter. I'm here today with my daughter, and I'm really proud to have her out here today to see the support, to see the people standing up for this. As my colleague, Commissioner Jayapal had said, there is so much work to do, and we all have to be standing up to do that work. And I think it's important to take the moments that we have today. So I'm really grateful to all the community organizations like Urban League, like Hacienda, like Verde, like Coalitions of Communities of Color, like NEA, who have been here and brought us together today. They have been working on issues in our community for years. There is so much work to do. And we are getting a lot of attention today and in this time on the reforms that are needed in the public safety system. And we have to keep doing on that. We have to keep asking questions that just have to do, not just with a few bills, but fundamentally why we do the things we do in public safety. Why are Black and brown men arrested at rates so much higher than whites? Why do we have people staying longer in our jails who are Black men than others? These are things that we have to keep looking at, but we also have to look beyond that, at our housing systems, at our education systems, at our healthcare systems, all the systems where we have disparities and where we have so much work to do. So thank you for being here today. Thank you for standing up for Black lives. And I'm very, very happy that we are committed to doing this work all across the board together. Thank you.
Thank you, Jessica, Commissioner. I want to finish by thanking everyone that came here today, by recognizing some of the organizations that have been supporting this effort, IRCOM, Africa House, and the Asian Family Center, and everybody else behind myself right now. And I want to summarize a little bit some of the words that were exposed by my colleagues, by these leaders of communities of color, by the African American community. Since the founding of this country, Native Americans have endured genocide of unthinkable consequences. Blacks were brought to this country without their will, just to become slaves. Latinos, who represent a wide range of indigenous communities across the entire Latin American country, also became slaves and oppressed by the Spaniards. The list continues to go on and on and on. The Chinese Exclusion Act, the Japanese internment camps, and many, many other situations in which we have been disgraced as a humanity to be called ourselves people. All of these communities of color, including my own, have suffered significant, horrific events of structural racism in the hands of an unjust system. With the death of George Floyd, we were reminded one more time that there is plenty of work for us to do and to come together, but we cannot do it alone. We can't do this alone. We need you, all of you, especially our white friends and allies. Today, I want to speak a little bit for the true movement of peace, the true movement of change and unity, and there is the Black Lives Matter movement. And I want to end by saying that violence is not the answer, peace is. Division is not the answer, unity is. Silence, my friends, has been said before. Silence is not the answer. Speaking up is, and together we will prevail. Together we will prevail, but we need your help. There are a couple of young ladies here, and I want to invite Lucy, who's standing there right there, as well as many other people, young people, because all of you young souls, have been fighting for change in ways that we have never seen before. This is the future. This is the change that will help us to do what we have not been able to do. My daughter, as well as Lucy, as well as Jimena, as many other two young women and men right here, have been fighting harder than we know. I was so delighted to know that the TikTok followers, were able to fill the arena for Trump and didn't show up, of course. Congratulations to them. Black Lives Matter, people. Let's keep the fight going. Thank you so much for being here. And there is water back here in case you need some. Everyone, please get some water. It's getting pretty hot out here.